Nico Harrison is cooking something, and I'm not saying it's going to be a big crazy trade that's going to put the Dallas Mavericks at the top of the Western Conference, as our offseason has been fairly modest. We got Daniel Gafford on a very team-friendly contract extension. We got Kyrie Irving on a brand new team-friendly deal that allowed us to go out there and get D'Angelo Russell, as well as we had the number one pick and we got Cooper Flagg. But knowing that Kyrie Irving will miss the first half of next season, we know that we have a need at the point guard position, and that's why we got D'Angelo Russell as well as Dante Exum. But the problem is we don't have a roster spot currently for Dante Exum, but over the weekend we did get a bit of news on a target that the Dallas Mavericks are trying to trade for that could open up a way to sign Dante Exum. And that player would be the Cleveland Cavaliers forward Dean Wade. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Dean Wade, see how good he played last year for the Cavs, how would he fit in with the Dallas Mavericks, and how does this all tie into Dante Exum. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 21,650 subscribers. Man, come on. We're only like 350 away from 22K, getting very close to our goal. So if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related all summer long, as we're getting very close to the start of the next season, make sure you subscribe. But the Dallas Mavericks have had a pretty modest offseason. Like I said, we have done a lot by only doing a little bit. We got Daniel Gafford on a new contract extension. We got Kyrie Irving on a new contract. We got Cooper Flagg with the number one pick. We got D'Angelo Russell. But we also got Dante Exum. We're slowly but surely fixing a few holes in the roster by making all the right moves. And like I said, we have Dante. We offered him a contract extension to come back on a one-year minimum deal. But the problem is we currently don't have a roster spot for Dante. We currently have 16 players with one empty spot for a two-way player. Who knows who's going to fill that spot? But on the main roster, we're one too many, and that's going to have to change. And on this channel, we've talked about certain players that are being shopped, like Martin and Omax and Hardy. But currently, nothing has been happening until over the weekend when we got this bit of news. MFL Nation tweeted out saying, report, the Dallas Mavericks are among the teams with a likely interest in acquiring Dean Wade via trade. He adds that Chris Fedor reported that the Mavericks have been fans for a few years. And I'm not going to say I'm a fan of Dean Wade, but I am familiar with his game. A lot of people point out that he's kind of a younger Maxi Kleber. And I know, you probably all think I hate Maxi. I don't. Prime Maxi was amazing. I loved watching him and Dorian Finney-Smith play. Those guys were scrappy, really good role players for the Mavs. But Dean Wade could, in a sense, be that for the Dallas Mavericks. Not saying we need Maxi back, but just having another forward on the team could definitely help us out. But it goes a little bit further than that, because then I tweeted out from my own sources, the Dallas Mavericks are working on a multi-player trade to free up a roster spot for Dante Exum. Recent reports about interest in Cleveland's Dean Wade is progressing and things are being worked out. Per my sources, I was told that this has more legs to it than we think, because we aren't the only team that's interested in Dean Wade. There are several other teams that are interested in Dean Wade. He's a very good role player, a good little 3-and-D guy, very good on the defense. The shooting could definitely improve, but the Dallas Mavericks do need to find a roster spot for Dante. And if we could make a trade, a 2-for-1 deal where you send out two players, you get one back, a player like Dean Wade, then boom, you have an open roster spot for Dante, and then you got another backup, a deep backup forward in Dean Wade. But in no way, shape, or form is Dean Wade just a throwaway player. He is a very solid role player. If we take a look at his stats from last season, Dean Wade averaged 21.2 minutes per game, and in those minutes, he averaged 5.4 points, 4.2 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.3 blocks, 0.7 steals, 0.4 turnovers, 1.7 fouls per game, while also shooting 41% from the floor and 36% from three. Those numbers really aren't that bad. Maybe a little bit more production, especially if you're putting up 21 minutes a game. And on the Dallas Mavericks, I would only be worried that he wouldn't really get enough minutes, and that's where things get a little tricky. Are we getting Dean Wade because we really are fans of his, like the report said, that we've wanted him for a few years? Or is this just the easiest way to get him that will allow us to get Dante to sign on the team? If you take a look at the money, both Dean Wade and Jaden Hardy make the same amount, $18 million over 3 years. So you can make the money work that way, where you swap 1-for-1, but you still have an open spot you don't have an open spot that you need to fill for Dante. In comes Omax. And if there was a multi-team trade with multiple players moving around, I can totally see the Dallas Mavericks shipping out both Omax and Jaden Hardy, whether that be both to the Cavs or one to the Cavs and one to another team like the Brooklyn Nets. Then that would be the route that would need to happen for the Dallas Mavericks to make room for Dante. But in my opinion, Dean Wade is not just a throwaway player. He's not just someone who's going to waste away at the end of the bench. He is a solid rotation piece. He definitely helped out the Cavaliers. He can definitely help out the Dallas Mavericks. And like I said earlier, he is kind of like a younger Maxey. If we just take a look at this player comparison right here, pause if you want to take a closer look at it, but the top half shows their offensive capabilities, and by far Dean Wade is the much better offensive player. Obviously Maxey's older, he's 33, Dean Wade's 28, but Dean Wade being a very good spot-up shooter, the three can definitely improve. Like I said, 5 points, 4 rebounds in 21 minutes. I'm not mad at that. We could definitely use more rebounding. The scoring will definitely come in time, especially if he gets used to our entire offense. But on the bottom half is the defense. Dean Wade, right now, by far, is a much better defender than Maxey, which could definitely help the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, we've heard it time and time again. I've said it on this channel that defense wins championships. That's our new mantra. And I'm not opposed to getting someone like Dean Wade, knowing it's not going to cost us any real rotation players. I mean, maybe we send out Caleb Martin for him. I don't know. But I truly do believe that it'll be a 2-for-1 deal to get Dean Wade, and then we get Dante Exum, and honestly, our entire offseason is over. But the last thing I want to show you guys is this right here. Top 7 wing stoppers last season, minimum 500 minutes played. And right there, just to prove that the defense is solid, at number 3, you've got Dean Wade. Now, Dean Wade is a 6'9". He's listed as a power forward, but from all that I've seen, all that I've heard, you could put him at the 2, the 3, or the 4, which is actually a really good thing for the Dallas Mavericks, having a player that flexible. If you take a look at another player like Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall is a small forward, but you can play him at the 1. We've seen him bring the ball down many times last season. You can also play him at the 2, sometimes the 4, depending on the situation, but Najee Marshall's a very switchable player, and Dean Wade is the same way. If we want to run a much bigger lineup, sure, throw Dean Wade at the 2. If you need him as a backup, cool, he could back up Najee Marshall, Cooper Flagg, PJ, AD. Of course, he wouldn't be an immediate addition to the rotation. He'd have to earn that spot with the Dallas Mavericks, as our rotation is very tight at the forward spot already. But I could definitely see Dean Wade being an amazing last resort if necessary. And after last season, we saw what happens when you need those last resort players. When everyone's injured, everyone's sick, who can you rely on? And I honestly wouldn't be upset if I saw Dean Wade early in like the second or third quarter of a game, knowing that he can provide a lot of defense as well as some good and much needed three-point shooting as well. And just like I said earlier about that depth that we have, it does make things kind of tricky. As of right now, our depth looks like this. You have D'Angelo Russell as your starting point guard with Klay Thompson at the 2, Cooper at the 3, AD at the 4, and Derrick Lively at the 5. This is off of ESPN.com. This isn't the official depth chart. This isn't the official rotation. But if we use this as an example, where would Dean Wade fit? He'd probably be 3rd for small forward behind Cooper Flagg, PJ, or maybe even 4th because you got Najee Marshall there. And then, okay, at power forward, you got AD, and then you got PJ and maybe Cooper, but you could probably put Dean Wade there. But then at the shooting guard, you got Klay, you got Max Christie, you got Najee, but you could also put Dean Wade there. Like I said, Dean Wade, a very switchable player. You could kind of plug and play between the 2, 3, and the 4. And that'll just add more options to the Dallas Mavericks. It'll add to our depth. Defense wins championships. He is a good defender. And I truly think that this is something that the Dallas Mavericks definitely need to capitalize on. But I also understand they don't want to have to move any other draft capital. No more picks is what the Dallas Mavericks said. If you want to trade players. But if you got to attach a second-round pick, just do it. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think Dean Wade would be a good addition to the team? Or do you think this is just something just to try to get Dante to the squad? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. We can have a conversation about it. But that's what I got for you guys today. Thank you for making part to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.